And the next category is Best Station Promo. The nominees are Brendan Ellis, Scott Honig, The Damage Report, Joel DeSorcier, Cup of Joe, and Jaquana Greenwood, TNT on OWWR. And the winner is...
When you see me, genuine question, what is my most attractive quality? Is it my long gooseneck? Is it my balding head? Or is it my sexy radio voice? Most people say the sexy radio voice. So I've had this for as long as I can remember. I mean, there was a time in middle school where it was cracking and terrible. It's gonna be modern day. Well, I'm gonna be modern day, he's gonna be from the past.
It's gonna be fencing.
But besides that, I have a good track record of having a pretty nice voice. So, it's only natural that I lent myself to radio. So I've been doing radio for many years, and I want to tell you about my journey doing it. So, believe it or not, radio is not something I always wanted to do. I was a very casual person with radio. If it was on in the car, my parents were driving, it would be on. Otherwise, I didn't really care for it. No. I wanted to be a vet growing up. I wanted to become a vet. And when it came time in high school to really think about it, if I had to ever put an animal in an uncomfortable situation or put them in harm's way, even for the greater good, I don't know if I could. So it left me lost and confused. What do I do now? Well, two things came to mind. Number one, everyone, including the lunch lady, said I had a nice voice for radio. And number two, with YouTube, because I've been doing this for just about 10 years, or almost 10 years, I enjoyed editing and acting out little skits. Here comes my trigger-happy hand. If I could lend my talents in some way, while also expressing my nice radio voice, that would be awesome. So, when it came time for college, I announced my major to be media and communications with a heavy focus on radio, podcasting, and broadcasting. So I remember my first day at college. The first day I expressed interest in the college radio station. And the director said it was cool, and he threw me inside the belly of the beast. And at that point on, I was made to do promos for the station. They had something every week, every day, Monday through Friday, called the 6 p.m. News Update, where they talk about news for the SUNY schools, local news, state news, national, international, business, stocks, entertainment, sports, and weather. And I had to help write scripts for that.
You're listening to West Barrowland Radio. This is your home, WWR 6 p.m. The News Update. Ron Flair claims 2 lives. Dr. reaches its end, and alleged Russian spy falls victim to a harmful substance.
I was one of maybe 3 or 4 people, I think maybe 3 people who did it at the time. And I remember they had me, because they didn't have enough people to anchor for the radio, they had me go on. I remember being so nervous. It was my first time being live on radio doing something. So I did that, and I continued to do that to the point where they got a news director, and there was 2 things that they would do for news for my radio station. They had an hour-long news show that I wouldn't get into until later in my college career, and then they had the news update. I was bestowed the position of assistant news director, and they had me do the updates. So I helped manage staff when it came to writing scripts. I edited through them. I anchored the news and worked the soundboard. I messed up a lot. I really did, but I became much better through my mistakes. And it culminated, I would spend every day there pretty much, almost every day, doing those news updates. And my director, she later nominated me for a MAC award, which is called the Media Arts Celebration Awards. At that point, I was dating a girl, and then there was a spring formal, a spring dance from the honors college that I wanted to go to. And I wanted to be with my girlfriend and have a nice date. I didn't care about boosting myself up with some arbitrary award that doesn't mean anything on my character. So I didn't plan on going. And then my radio director pressured me to do it. What ended up happening was I spent pretty much 97% of my time at those MAC Awards and just a slight bit of time at the dance. I wore a suit and tie. I was with my girlfriend, and I remember when they called out my name. Not as a nominee, as a winner. My freshman year, expecting nothing. My family cheered me on, she cheered me on, and it felt really good. And then the dance was like nothing. There was no people there, and it wasn't worth it. So we stayed for like 2 minutes to say hello, played with a balloon, and then we left. That was a special moment. I'm not someone with an enormous ego that wants to get awards to be the best. But, damn, that felt good. I worked hard on that. And it seemed like my career in radio was only going up then. So let's enter the next year. The year was 2018. I broke up with that girl, so I wasn't feeling too hot that year. But the one good thing that actually helped get me through that breakup was leaving the position of assistant news director to become the news director. So unlike the previous news director, which focused on the radio show and I had to do the news update, I did both. The news show was called In the Know. We had the first segment, which was about like stories based on campus. So I'd have to literally record events and make something out of it, and I had people help me do that. And we had different segments going on, different things happening on the campus. We had a sports segment. If you know anything about me, if you ever looked at my room and saw what posters I had, I'm not into sports too much. So I had the sports director help with that. And they interviewed people and they covered statistics of what was going on at the games. They had a feature where we would talk about either something new happening on campus, or we would interview someone who had any sort of achievement, like if someone won an award or someone received a new position, we'd do that. We had another segment where we had debates and discussions, and then the fifth segment had smaller segments where we talked about the calendar of events. We had a trivia section where I would literally run around with a little recorder and with a microphone, like it's Comedy Central or something, and ask people funny questions to make them look bad for views.
What is the capital of Australia? Let's do this.
Oh my god, that's a hard question. Oh my god.
I know.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
What about you?
I have no idea as well.
All right, so you both are teaming up and guessing I don't know. I hate to say that is incorrect. It's actually Canberra. What does Google say? I see you're searching.
Canberra.
All right, congratulations, Google. You're correct. Oh my God, Yahoo didn't get it, Bing didn't get it, but Google. And we had a Morn in the Media where I had my brother cover people who were a little dumb in the media and make fun of them. We had all of that. Every week we had to put together a whole package in 1 week. And I had to organize staff. I had weekly staff meetings, and we had to make something beautiful. So, that year, I didn't have a typical relationship with my girlfriend anymore. My relationship was with this show In the Know. I sacrificed my entire year on that. I had weekly staff meetings for the radio station. I had weekly staff meetings for the news department, and I was putting everything together while still doing what I did with the news update. I was still anchoring, helping edit scripts, doing the soundboard, lending my voice, while also doing scripts, while also doing everything in recording and organizing for the show. And every Friday, I didn't have class, by the way. So I'd go in on Fridays, drive an hour out of my way, because my school was an hour away from where I lived, and put together the entire show all by myself, and it took hours. I sat by a computer and put everything together, piece by piece, for hours, and then put it on the air, while still doing the news update. I still didn't stop. And so I would come in early in the morning, early. I didn't have a proper lunch. I just got snacks. So I probably wasn't very healthy then. And then I left after maybe 6:30. And that was my Friday. It's not like The Cure's Friday where they sing Friday I'm in Love, or it's not like Rebecca Black. I'm not getting down on Friday. I suffered pretty badly. But Mac Awards happened again, and at that point I nominated myself this time to get some credit, because goddamn did I push myself for this, for Best News Segment for Radio and Best Show with In the Know. And it came. I didn't win Best News Segment. That just happened the year before, and that was it. But I won Best Show.
You're listening to OWWR, Old Westbury Web Radio, broadcasting live from SUNY College at Old Westbury. Here's everything you need to know in the know.
It wasn't a show I was proud of. I personally wouldn't listen to it on my own free time. But it was a show I spent blood, sweat, and tears on. I was so frustrated once I punched a wall getting through a show. It was very stressful. I think that's when I started losing my hair. I think it was that year, for good reason. So when I won Best Show, it really meant something to me. But it wasn't the show I wanted to create, and I just killed myself. And so 2019 came. It was my third year of college, but my final senior year, because I had enough credits to graduate then. I didn't want to kill myself being a news director. After that semester of being a news director, after that year, technically, I wasn't obligated to do it. Of course, my radio director wasn't happy when I stepped down, but I had that freedom. And I decided to make my own radio show called The Damage Report. I got someone to help me do that, and she eventually kind of stepped down for that. And the thing about The Damage Report, it had the news aspects that were in my previous parts of radio, but also had the comedy aspects that I personally really enjoyed. Like the trivia segment for In the Know, I lived for that. It was fun. I wanted to do more of that. So we picked apart news that seemed rather odd or goofy, and we just had fun and had a nice laugh. And so I recruited a new friend of mine, Scott Honigman, who became my best friend later on, and someone else who didn't stay, who stayed for maybe a day. So eventually it was just me and him, and we developed this beast, this baby, The Damage Report, and it was a lot of fun. So I would do the soundboard, and we'd make funny jokes, we'd have a good time. And later on we recruited a friend of mine, Sarah DeMauro, who now works for News 12, how time flies. And to give you a good example, I'm going to play a little bit of a show we did.
You're listening to OWWR, Old Westbury Web Radio, broadcast live from Old Westbury, New York. I'm Scott Honigman.
I'm Braden Ellis.
And I'm Sarah DeMauro.
And you're listening to The Damage Report, your number one source for nonsense news.
In just a few minutes,
The NYPD is looking out for love.
Why is this Spaniard building a spaceship?
robbers get ready, because this store owner has a machete.
Nearly 300 Santas make their way to the slopes.
And Nintendo fans get an ultimate treat.
All of this and much, much more on The Damage Report, your number one source for nonsense news, only on OWWR, Old Westbury Web Radio.
All right. Okay. Before we begin, I need to be polite. Where are my manners? How are we doing today?
I'm doing
pretty good.
fantastic.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're doing good, so we hope you're doing good. We're going to give you quite a great show, if I do say so myself.
So it was a lot of fun. I even made a promo based on Lord of the Rings. I'll show you that too.
Tell us what you know.
Why does it cry? We want to listen to it.
Listen to what, creature?
Your number one source for nonsense news. When can we hear it, precious? Every Tuesday at 4 p.m. with Brandon Ellis, Scott Honigman, and Sarah DeMauro. We want it.
What radio show do you speak of?
The Damage Report! Only on OWWR, Old Westbury Web Radio.
There's a pattern. I kill myself doing radio every year, and then there's Mac Awards. So Mac Awards happened, and I was nominated for 4 things. There was a station promo I did for the Damage Report, an event promo. I made a video based on my brother, a little documentary, and I did Best Show for the Damage Report. I won a lot of Mac Awards that year. I won Best Portrait of a Person based on that documentary with my brother. I'll show you that quickly. I won Best Event Promo, Best Station Promo, and surprisingly enough, my goofy little show, Scott, Sarah, and I had no expectations of winning. It was a goofy little show that a bunch of friends put together for shits and giggles. I'll never forget the moment of us winning. We won. Yeah, we got announced. I was with my best friend and my brother who wrote some of the scripts, with 2 of the people I love dearly in my life. Didn't have a girlfriend, but I had love in other forms, and we won. We were on stage, I made an announcement. It was so cool. I won 4 Mac Awards that year. I'll never forget it. It would seem like that was it, and that was it for college radio. But let me tell you, the fun doesn't end there. So, 2018, 2019, I had a contact who was a former AM radio host. And I spoke to him, and he was able to talk me into getting my own radio show at AM radio. It was something you had to pay to get into. It was called WGBB. I signed a contract with Scott, and we officially were AM radio talk show hosts. We had the Damage Report, but that name was taken, so we switched it to a show called Nonsense News Nation, where every 2 weeks, it was $150, by the way, for a half an hour. So I was a broke college student or a post-college student, so I wasn't paying all that money. So we did every 2 weeks for a half an hour. We'd go on air, and we would have some fun.
Right in front of me, you can't see him, it's radio, is Scott Honickman.
Ginger guy himself. I'm very, very excited to be here with my good friend Brandon, and we're excited to give you hopefully the best show we can provide to you.
That's a guarantee. Now, we've been doing a very similar show back at our old station, OWWR, Westbury Web Radio. It was called The Damage Report. It's a lot of fun, but we're here to really bring it to WGBB, give it our all, and give you the best quality content you could possibly get. And what we do, we started up with our very first segment of the day. We call that your weekly dose of dumb, where we take you around the nation, across the globe, and give you the wackiest stories we could possibly find, because we don't have lives, but we're here to serve you. So, having said that, we're going to go into our very first story of the day. Now, it starts like this. New Jersey firefighters were called into an unusual situation. A local business called, warning that a child was trapped inside its claw machine.
We did it for, I think, 2 years. 2019 and 2020, really.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Hey, Ben. Ben, what's going on? Tell us what you do.
Well, I'm the bass player for Fuzzy Surf. We're a surf rock and roll band out of Milwaukee, so in Wisconsin here. So it's a little cold. It's not really the weather for surf music, but we like to rock it out anyway.
Even interviewing the band Fuzzy Surf was a big deal, and it was nice. 2020 happened, and the pandemic hit us hard, and Scott and I didn't feel comfortable going to any place really to meet up. So we kind of shifted away from radio, and we moved towards a podcast format, and we did podcasts for a while. Coming back into radio, it didn't really feel the same afterwards, though. Radio felt more like a chore. I didn't think they were treating us right. For $150, I didn't think we were getting the best quality. They weren't promoting us. So at the end of 2020, we had our final show. It was sad, but it had to happen.
In all seriousness, it's been a very tough year for a lot of people. And I hope that in whatever outlet that people have consumed our show, Spotify, YouTube, WGBB, it's helped distract them and help them.
Right, and we can only strive to do more.
Right.
Make the world a better place, or maybe a more smiley place. That's what we definitely strive to do. I also want to thank someone who's been doing the thumbnails for every single episode that we've done since last October, Ben Schwartz. He's took his off. And
Little
he's
Ben
been-
butt.
his little Benny butt. And he's been making some great thumbnails for us. So
Right, every
very
time we upload.
appreciative.
He's
Scott-
been on the show a couple times.
a few
Ben
times,
Schwartz.
yeah, on the podcast too.
He's a dear friend of the show.
In early 2021, January 2021, I officially, formally quit WGBB. And that seemed to be it for radio. But months later, I think it was April, I got nominated for another Mac Award. It was insane. So my former radio director contacted me about that, and it was nuts. So here's what happens with Mac Awards. In the 2019 Mac Award, it starts with nominations from late 2018 to 2019. So the 2020 Mac Awards would have been from late 2019 to 2020. But the pandemic happened and canceled Mac Awards. So in 2021, they had it where they were honoring both years. So it started with late 2019, 2020, into 2021. And they nominated me and Scott for a station promo for the Damage Report, or old radio show. And I was not expecting to win at all, once again. But May came around, and the Mac Awards happened virtually, and I sat in my room, and my family was there, and my girlfriend, Gabby, my new girlfriend, the best one so far. She was on the phone because she was at work, and she watched with us. The time came on for Best Station Promo for radio. My heart was pounding. She had to leave and go back to work, but she was still listening with her headphones. They announced our names, and you know what? Let me just show you what happened.
And the winner is Brandon Ellis and Scott Hunekman, The Damage Report.
Yeah, once again, we won. We won again. And it was bittersweet. I didn't think I would have that experience again for a Mac Award. And it was beautiful. Scott didn't create the promo. He didn't write it. He didn't edit it. He didn't record it. He was just there by association, but I was glad to give him credit. I love him to death. But I won another Mac Award, and it was insane. And it was bittersweet because so ends my career in radio after that. I'll show you, I think I have the Mac Award right here. So Best Station Promo, it's going to have our names for the Damage Report. I got some other stuff too. Best Event Promo, Best Show. I have a lot of different Mac Awards here. I have a total of, I think, at this point, 2, 4, 6, 7 Mac Awards from all years from 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2021. It's been a ride. Right now, I produce podcasts on the side, and I work now at a museum. Right now, my radio career is kaput, but I have this degree, and I'd like to see what I can do with it. So, while this seems to be the end, it may not really be the end. This just may be the end of a chapter. So Scott and I, we still do Nonsense News Nation in podcast form. You can check that out on YouTube, Spotify, Anchor, TuneIn, wherever you get podcasts.
This is Scott. You might recognize me from Nonsense News Nation with Brandon. I've been on Brandon's channel maybe a couple of times, but he's asking me to make a video about our experience with radio. And it's kind of a long story, but I'll try my best to condense it here. Basically, about 3 or 4 years ago now, I met Brandon at Old Westbury at our school. And he was at the radio station. He was doing some stuff there. And he was thinking about starting a new show called The Damage Report. And he asked me if it was more so me kind of pressing him to let me be involved in any way. And he was looking for a co-host. So he started The Damage Report. We started it together essentially, but it was his project. We did that for about a year at Old Westbury or so. We mainly just talked about weird, nonsensical stories in the news. And that Damage Report eventually became Nonsense News Nation. It was essentially the same show with a different name change. And we moved after Brandon had graduated. We moved our radio show to a radio station called WGBB on Long Island, and we were there for about 6 or 7 months, and it was a really, rewarding and cool experience to actually have a radio show on a legitimate radio station as opposed to a college radio station or on YouTube, where we eventually brought Nonsense News Nation. The only real problem was how expensive it was. The airtime was $150 per 30 minutes. And, I think we did it like twice a month and then limited it to like once a month and then maybe every other month. But we did eventually leave, and I think we made the right decision because we saved a lot of money and just continued to do what we love to do on YouTube. We still make Nonsense News Nation episodes sporadically. We're going to be uploading one pretty soon too. I'm grateful for all the time we've done this. It's been a lot of fun. And Brandon, if you're watching this, and I know you are, oh yeah,